Good morning, my dear students. Today I will discuss the valency bond theory, which we come across in the chemical bond and also in the complexes. In the chemical bond, valency bond theory predicts the geometry of the molecules based on the overlapping of the atomic orbitals. In the complexes also, valency bond theory predicts the shapes of the molecules with the help of hybridization rather. Hybridization also involves the atomic orbitals. You know very well, in atomic orbitals, three rules will be followed. Filling of electrons, Abo principle, lower energy shell should be filled first. Hund's rule, all degenerate orbitals should be occupied by one electron before pairing takes place. And Pauli's principle, an orbital can accommodate maximum of 2 electrons. These are the general rules. This is applicable in case of chemical bond, but in complexes, 2 rules will be violated. Except Pauli's, remaining 2 rules can be violated. So there are some exceptions in the complexes. In complexes, central atom will be there. Central atom is surrounded by ligands. Each ligand furnish 2 electrons, a monodentate ligand, and these 2 electrons should accommodate in orbital. So whenever you come across any type of hybridization in the complexes, remember the hybrid orbitals must be empty. Must be empty. The concept of hybridization explains that the hybrid orbital may contain no electrons, may contain 1 electron, may contain 2 electrons, but they involve in bonding. That was discussed in the junior inter part. So all the hybridization we come across in the complexes, the hybrid orbitals should be empty. These orbitals can accommodate 2 electrons, each orbital. Now I will take one example, that is simple example, nickel tetracarbonyl. Before going to discuss this nickel tetracarbonyl, first of all, what we have to understand, on what basis these complexes geometries can be discussed. Geometry of the complexes can be discussed based on the magnetic moment of the complex. That is the important point to be remembered. Magnetic moment depends upon the number of unpaired electrons. Simply by seeing the complex, it is not possible to predict how many unpaired electrons are present in the central atom. It should be done through a device that is called magnetometer. In magnetometer, if complex is placed, it gives us some information, that is magnetic movement of the complex. For example, if nickel tetracarbonyl is placed, it behaves as a diamagnetic. It does mean that is all electrons are paired up, no unpaired electrons. If it behaves as a paramagnetic, it has some unpaired electrons. Based on the number of unpaired electrons, the magnetic moment value will be known to us. For example, if 1 unpaired electron is there, magnetic moment is 1.7. If 2 unpaired electrons are there, magnetic moment 2.7 likewise. So when nickel tetracarbonyl is placed in magnetometer, we get the information of magnetic moment 0. Now this concept is to be applied on the nickel tetracarbonyl, and we have to get whether the nickel tetracarbonyl should undergo sp3 or dsp2. Why I am proposing 2 types of hybridizations? Because there in nickel tetracarbonyl 4 ligands are there. In 4 ligands, 2 possibilities are there, either sp3 or dsp2. Either sp3 or dsp2. Now look at one by one. In this complex, nickel is a central atom. So central atom atomic number is 28. Its electronic configuration of nickel is 3d8,4s2. The oxidation number of nickel is 0. Why? Because carbon monoxide has no charge. So in any carbonyl, the oxidation state of central atom is 0. Now in complex, nickel electronic configuration is 3d8,4s2. 3d8,4s2. Because oxidation state is also 0. So no electron is gone out. So even in the complex, the electronic configuration remains same. Now the debate comes. If this electronic configuration is there, 2 hybridization. In these 2 hybridization, try to check it. S orbital is involved. Whatever the type of orbitals involved, all orbitals should be vacant. Therefore, this S orbital should be vacant. Here also should be vacant. So now come to this. This is a 3d8,4s2. 3d8,4s2 and 4p. Definitely if you take any one of these, s orbital should be vacated. Therefore, these s electrons are forced to pair up, which is against to Habo principle. So if these electrons are jumping into 3D, the configuration becomes like this: 3D, 10, 4s, 0, 4p. These four orbitals now involved in sp3. As a result, no unpaired electron is available here. All electrons paired up, therefore magnetic moment is 0. That is, it is diamagnetic. So it is perfectly matching to the experiment. So based on the experiment, the concept of hybridization of nickel tetracarbonyl is applied. So sp3, as a result, this complex has what shape? Tetrahedral shape. So it undergoes tetrahedral and diamagnetic, not dsp2. Not dsp2. Example 2. Nickel tetracyanide. It has 0 unpaired electrons. That means mu is equal to 0. Magnetic moment is 0. So this is the information we obtained from the complex. That is especially from the magnetometer. Now we have to apply this. Now electronic configuration of nickel is 3d8 4s2, and oxidation state of nickel is +2. X minus 4 is equal to -2, therefore +2. So its electronic configuration is 3d8 4s0. Why? Because it is +2. Now, in complex, nickel is 3d8 4s0 4p0. First electron, second likewise. This is the configuration. Now, debate starts. What type of hybridization it involves? sp3 or dsp2? If it involves sp3, then this is enough for us. These are enough. As a result, 4 orbitals involved in sp3 and the shape may be tetrahedral. In such a case, these 2 electrons are left behind. Hence, its magnetic property is paramagnetic. But experimental says that it is diamagnetic. So this configuration does not valid. So now what happens in complexes? Nickel is like this. This electron is forced to pair up here. Now 3d is vacated, this d and likewise. So the configuration is, so the hybridization is S, 2p and 1d. So dsp2 hybridization takes place. Why this is proposed? In order to maintain the magnetic moment is 0. So I'll just look at this. If you take this configuration, that is sp3 hybridization rather, then magnetic moment is 2.8. But evidence is there that its magnetic moment is 0. Therefore, you have to quit sp3 and you have to come for dsp2. This is the case. So in this case, it is dsp2. The shape of the molecule is square planar. Whereas in case of previous nickel tetracarbonyl, it is sp3. The shape of the molecule is tetrahedral. Example number 3. Nickel tetrahalide -2. Similarly, nickel electronic configuration always 3d8 4s2. In this case, as I told in the previous case, nickel has +2 because these are nothing but halogens. So electronic configuration in complex is 3d8, 4s0 because 2 electrons are lost. Now, in complex, two possibilities, either sp3 or dsp2, whatever the discussion we had in the previous two cases. Now, look at the configuration. This is the configuration. 5, 6, 7 and 8. This is 3d8. And now, its magnetic moment is 2.8 Bohr magnetons. Now you can predict. So to satisfy this magnetic moment, if you go for dsp2, that means if this electron is paired up, then we can go for dsp2. In such a case, its magnetic moment becomes 0. But actual evidence says that its magnetic moment is 2.8. So in this theory, it is better to remember the magnetic moment or number of unpaired electrons. Then automatically it gives information. So 2.8 means 2 unpaired electrons. So to satisfy this magnetic moment, the hybridization is in complex. The hybridization will be like this. This is a 3d8 as such. That means no question of violation here, and it goes for sp3. So these are the electrons coming from ligands. So sp3 with what shape? Tetrahedral. How many unpaired electrons? 2 unpaired electrons. Therefore, its magnetic moment is 2.8 in case of tetrahalix. Students may get doubt. So how do you remember all this? Better, these halides are weak ligands. Weak ligands you will come across in the next class. If ligand is weak, then these electrons are not forced to pair up. In the previous case, carbon monoxide is a strong ligand, cyanide is a strong ligand. In such a case, the electrons are paired up. The electrons are paired up. But here, halogens or halide ions are weak ligands. These electrons are not forced to pair up. Hence, outer complex is taking place. That means this is just a outer electrons are involved here. So this is the shape. So this is the case with the nickel tetrahalide. Example number 4. FeCO5. Look at this example. Here how many ligands I have written? 5. If it is 5, the hybridization may be dsp3 or sp3d. If D is involved, inner D is involved, that is written first dsp3. If outer D is involved, D is written later, sp3d. So possibilities are 2. Now, iron has electronic configuration 3d6 4s2 since its atomic number is 26. In complex, carbon monoxide is neutral ligand, so there is no charge for this. So oxidation state of iron has 0 oxidation number. So electronic configuration remains as such. So its electronic configuration in complex is once again 3d6 4s2. It is 3d6 4s2. Now, in this 3d6 4s2, this is the configuration. Here 4p will be available. 4d is also available. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 likewise. And here. In complex, 5 ligands. 5 ligands means dsp3 or sp3d. That means in both the cases, s orbital is there. I told you already, all hybrid orbitals should be empty. Therefore, s orbital should be vacated. S orbital should be vacated. I told you just now, carbon monoxide is strong ligand. Hence, these electrons are forced to pair up. Right? So now in complexes, these electrons will come in. So this will be pairing here, right? So Altogether, how many electrons? 8 electrons should be there. The 6 plus 2, 8. Which is vacated now? This is vacated. Which is against to Hobbe principle. Against to Hobbe principle. Against to Hund's rule also. So now this DsP3. DsP3. 5 ligands. So what is a magnetic moment? No unpaired electron. So it is diamagnetic. Diamagnetic. So this is the case. The shape of the molecule will be like this. This is trigonal bipyramid. 3 and 4, 5. This is one more example. Pentacarbonyl iron. Examples, other examples. CO F6 minus 3. Mn Cl6 minus 3 and Fe F6 minus 3. Look at these 3 examples. I told you just now, these ligands are weak ligands. Therefore, these ligands cannot make the electrons to pair up. So that is a simple point you can remember based on that. Now look at this. Cobalt, first I am discussing this example. Cobalt has Z value 27, therefore 3d7 4s2. 3d7 4s2. In complex, Z has, that is cobalt has oxidation state x minus 6 is equal to minus 3. It has plus 3. So it has a 3d6 4s0. Plus 3 means loss of 3 electrons, 3d6 4s. So orbital electronic configuration of cobalt plus 3 in complexes. Here it is. D6. S and P. 6 electrons. S is empty, P is empty. 4D is also available. This is 3D, this is 3, this is 4S, this is 4P. Now, how many ligands are to be accommodated? 6. So for 6 ligands, what are the possible hybridizations? 2 possibilities. sp3d2 or d2sp3. So 2 possibilities. 6 ligands, 2 possibilities. d2sp3 or sp3d2. In both the case, s orbital should be empty. Now look at this. So in this example, in the first example, in CO plus 3 state complex, the hybridization may be like this. This is 3D, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 4S, this is 4P, this is 4D. Right? These fluorides, chlorides, bromides are unable to force these electrons. So the 4 electrons remain as such. Now it does not use this because these 2 orbitals should be vacated. As I told you, every hybrid orbital should be empty. If these 2 involved, these 2 should be vacated. Therefore this configuration. Finally we get this. So sp3d2. This type of complex is called outer complex because outer D is used. This type of complex is spin-free complex. That means electrons are not paired up. So spin-free complex, outer complex, outer complex. There are 2 names. So spin-free means these are free, and outer means this. So outer complex, right? This is the example. So this is right. Now tell me, what is a magnetic moment? Mu value is equal to 4 unpaired electrons. So nearly 4.8 Bohr magnetons. This is the first case. Now similar type of concept is applied for this. I'll tell you 3 more examples. K4 Fe CN6. Another example, K3 Fe CN6. One more example, cobalt oxalates like this. Look at one by one. In this case, in first case, iron has Z value 26, so 3d6, 4s2. Fe has +2 state, so it is in 3d6, 4s0 in first case. Now, electronic configuration in complex is written as like this, 3D. This is 3d6, 4s, 4p. Even 4d is also there. Whenever necessity, we make use of it. Here there are 6. Right? And how many possibilities? 6 ligands. So possibilities are D2 sp3 or sp3 D2. So try to remember, this is a powerful ligand. So in powerful ligand, the electrons are forced to pair up. So in this case, in complex, the hybridization is like this. D6, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are forced to pair up. Now, this is taking place. So this is empty. So what type of hybridization? D2sp3. D2sp3. For 6 ligands, the shape of the molecule is always octahedral. This is the shape. Octahedral. Here a ligand, one more ligand, at this central atom. Octahedral. So tell me, magnetic moment. It is having no unpaired electrons. So magnetic moment is 0. So this complex C is diamagnetic. Magnetic moment D is 0. So in case of potassium ferrocyanide, it is a diamagnetic moment with a shape and this. Right? Now, the same concept is applied to this. Now we will discuss this. Here iron has same atomic number. Iron has but it changes here, oxidation number change. Instead of +2, here it has +3. This is called potassium ferricyanide. So if it has +3, 3 electrons should lose. So 2, and here it should be written as 3d5. 3d5. So electronic configuration 3d5. This electron will not be there. Small changes. And in complex, 2 possibilities of hybridization. sp3d2, d2sp3. Once again, powerful ligand is taken. So forced to pair up. As a result, it takes place like this. So how many unpaired electrons? 5. These 5 electrons are forced to pair up. 1, 2, and 1 more will be left behind. So how many unpaired electron is left behind here? 1 electron is free. And d2sp3. So is it paramagnetic or diamagnetic? Unpaired electron presence leads to paramagnetic. So this is paramagnetic. Magnetic moment value 1. Therefore its value is 1.7 Bohr magnetons. So potassium ferrocyanide is diamagnetic. Potassium ferricyanide is paramagnetic. Now look at the third case. Even this is also a powerful ligand. So how do you know whether the ligand is powerful or weak? Next to this crystal field theory, we will be having some information. Powerful ligands, weak ligands likewise. Cyanides, carbon monoxides, this is oxalates, ethyl diamine. Likewise, they are strong ligands. Even ammonia is also strong ligand. So this is the case. Next, now look at this example, cobalt. Electronic configuration of cobalt. is 27. 27 means 3d7, 4s2. Oxidation state of cobalt, x minus 6 is equal to minus 3, therefore x is equal to plus 3. So oxidation number, cobalt has plus 3. So configuration should be written as 3d6, 4s0. Now, how many ligands? How many ligands? It appears as if it is 3 ligands, but it is 6 ligands. Why? Because oxalate is a bidentate ligand, COO minus, COO minus. So each ligand produces 2 pairs. This is a bidentate ligand, so it appears as if it is 3 only, but it gives 6 pairs of electrons. So for this, once again the hybridization may be D2 sp3 or sp3 D2. 2 possibilities, but this deceives you. This deceives you. So it produces 6. So electronic configuration in complex is this is D6. This is a powerful ligand. So electrons are forced to pair up. So in this case, powerful ligand. So the configuration comes like this. This is 3d6, 4s, 4p. These electrons are paired up. Now this is vacated. These are the electrons coming from ligands. 6 ligands, not 3. 6 ligands. It's not 3, 6 ligands. So D2 sp3. D2 sp3. Is it diamagnetic or paramagnetic? No unpaired electrons, so it is diamagnetic. These are the 3 examples. I'll tell you one more example. Mn Cn6 minus 3. Mn Cl4 minus 2. Zn Cn4 minus 2. These are the 3 examples. Now, first Mn 6 ligands. So 2 possible hybridization. You might have learned already. Mn has what oxidation state? Plus 3. So electronic configuration plus 3 means total. This is a 3D. Atomic number of manganese is 25. So 3d5, 4s2. In this case, it becomes 3d4, 4s0. So this becomes 3d4, 4s0. This is 1 electron, second, third, fourth, and this is 3d4, 4s0 and 4p. Now look at this complex. How many ligands? 6 ligands. So cyanide, right? Cyanide. In this case, these electrons are forced to pair up. How many empty orbitals we need? Only 2. Only 2. So this electron will pair up like this. D2 sp3. So how many unpaired electrons left behind? 2. So this magnet 2 unpaired electrons, so to paramagnetic. Mu value 2.8 in this case. But remember, all the electrons are not paired here. If this is paired, 1d is left behind. So we need only 2. We need only 2. That's why only 1 electron is forced to pair up against 2. That is Hund's rule. So this is the configuration, 2 unpaired electrons. This is with the manganese tetracide. This is also strong ligand. So this is called inner complex, spin paired complex, inner complex, spin paired complex. This example, Mn plus 2 state x minus 2. So electronic configuration in complex 3d5, 4s 0 because 25 atomic number. This is the configuration. How many ligands? 4 ligands. Possibilities D, sp2 or sp3, but this is a weak field, so no question of pairing. So in such a case, in complex, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 remain as such. This hybridization takes place. sp3. So how many unpaired electrons? 5. So mu value 5.8 Bohr magnetons. Is it para or dia? Simple, unpaired electrons paramagnetic. So because of weak field, these electrons are not paired up. So that likewise you can remember this is the case. Next case, look at the final case. Zinc, atomic number 30, oxidation state of zinc plus 2. So 3d10 is the configuration. 3d10 4s0. Already 3d10 4s2, 2 electrons lost. Therefore the configuration will be like this. This is 3d10, 4s and 4p. This is 3d10. Tell me, think logically. Even though this is strong, there is no chance of pairing because already completely filled. So this, even though it is strong, there is no chance of pairing. So in such a case, these 4 orbitals are available. So sp3, paramagnetic or diamagnetic, here only ligands, always ligand produces 2 electrons. So its magnetic moment D is 0. Therefore this is diamagnetic. Likewise you have to understand. So finally I would like to conclude a point here. If you want to solve these examples in the examination, better remember strong ligands and weak ligands. After remembering, try to apply your concepts, and with a few exceptions they are there. Even though it is cyanide, it is not pairing up because of unforced things. It is as such. Likewise you have to remember the unpaired electrons. So better segregate based on the unpaired electron, because these all are written based on the experiment. Experimental value explains the number of unpaired electrons. Based on the experiment, this theory can be predicted. So these are the examples in valence bond theory. Thank you.